Здравствуйте.
Hello, hello.
Меня не видно? У меня камера не включается. Вот включилась. Вот. Ну да.
Good afternoon. Hi, Luna. I see you cut your hair.
Yeah, it's to convenience myself while I struggle to survive.
When did you do it?
What?
When did you do it?
Oh, like last week.
How does it feel to have short hair when there was a snowstorm? Were you out?
No, I wasn't. So.
Well, that's for good. That is definitely for good. How are you feeling this week?
Same.
Same frustration?
Yeah, I feel like it's more than a frustration. I don't know what this is gonna culminate to because again, I can only influence people so much with my words. Happens to be that, you know what, people involved are getting fat paychecks, which influences them so much more than any sort of sympathy or thoughts about like the future of law enforcement, the future of our economy, or the future of, you know, humanity in general, because I feel like I've witnessed more than unkindness, and if only people knew, you know, because, you know, it comes to it, we're not really like cuddly animals. We're really sort of more like pigs, you know? Like pigs, they would eat other pigs, do, you know?
Well, pigs are very, brutal. As much as they look cute, when pigs are getting into this defense mode, they will destroy their enemy, so-called. That's for sure.
Yeah, and for sure, I think they're like of a lesser intelligence than real people are, because there probably are still people in the world. Come to be, I happen to believe in that. It's just, will they ever reach me? You know?
Lana, I think about you, like I'm worried about you, because I see that sometimes, on the analogy of the moon that is going up and down, sometimes you're feeling more grounded, more calmer, I would use the word. And
I'm pretty grounded all the time, but I don't really believe that you're worried about me. I feel like you're somehow involved in this, and like to convenience yourself, you will think of, you know, some way to write this up or write this off, and it's not really going to be for the health and welfare of me or for my child. You're going to end up separating us. It's going to be to convenience yourself in the end. That's what I believe, you know. But no, I don't want to switch therapists, and I don't think I could influence you in a positive way, you know, because if I tell you, you know, something like, you would sit there and wait until I had so much of a struggle that my child started struggling in school, or, you know, and then you'd actually like investigate, or, you know, you'd get other people invested, you know, because I see this happening everywhere. Like, you know, people are riding this superficial wave of love and sympathy, but the underlying reality is that they're pigs.
my level of your life caused you increased level of anxiety?
It's not really like throughout my life. I believe it's escalating because a rat, so to speak. I let people know what's going on, you know. And again, what it comes down to is like there's paychecks that are fighting over my welfare and my son's welfare, and that's the way it feels. You know, I know you would like to exploit my past, maybe perhaps even whatever you could grab at, but you know, what if it happened to be that people investigated, say, you and where you come from and what substance you are, you know? They might come to find that, you know, really the depth of your interest is really bullshit and you want to get a paycheck. And I'm just wondering what kind of paycheck is involved, you know? And how will we go about, like, you know, resolving our mutual interests? Because there's, like, you know, I worry about the state of affairs because there are lines that were crossed that I, as a civilian, had faith in before. Like, I had faith in the FDA, I had faith in the FCC before any of this started. I even had faith in people that they were more, you know, down to earth and not this aggressive, but it seems to me that it's like an overwhelming show of like morons and aggressive assholes that like just want to blind themselves by materialism.
I can see that this can provoke different emotions. Honestly, I don't even know what you're going through. It can be scared. It can be irritating. It can be many different things.
Many different things. Yeah.
I am more. There are certain health issues sometimes connected to our reactions, and I'm afraid that what I see could be developing psychosis because of this unresolved trauma with everything that's been going on lately. Because when we stop.
So why is it that I'm having a psychosis this week? Because I'm calmer, or because you're calmer and you have dutifully engaged yourself and you've given it some thought on how to approach me? And again, it's sort of like sounds almost like a threat when you start labeling me with terminology, you know? And similarly so, I'm sure there's doctors that will either, you know, ignore what I'm telling them or misdiagnose, readily so. And this is really what's scaring me at the core of it, you know, and it's depressing. But I do know I have friends that see it my way, you know, that see the world for what it is.
You see, unfortunately, your friends won't be helpful too.
I know they can't help me physically, they can't help me in my struggles, but it's sort of a very like solid emotional connection, you know. And I see these greedy people scrambling for what we have because they think they could buy it or take it from someone, and they never will. I think it's something that develops maybe in childhood. Real love sometimes comes from struggle, comes from, you know, a real emotional bond and acknowledgement of our history as people, not riding this new wave of bullshit.
You see, us talking about it in this context, it's very. I wonder what changed in the last 3 weeks.
What do you mean 3 weeks? We talked last week.
Ever since you received the news about moving to the new place, this was very dysregulating. This really like kind of took you out. The way I see it, it took you out from.
I knew I was moving, actually, Anna. I knew I was moving. They told me a while ago that I was moving. I'm not gonna move unless they move me like legally. I don't want to move. I don't know why it's stressful for them. I don't know why it's stressful for you. I mean, I could guess at it, but like I thought better of our system of law and bureaucracy that I didn't think actually physically moving me would erase the long paper trail of these other residents either. Because when I moved, like my new landlord could pull up somewhere where I've lived before. How was my down payment? Was it returned? Whatever. I don't know who has access to this, but for NYCHA for sure, they have a list of residents. So it would be sort of strange if like, it really concerned me as much as you're making it out. It's just sort of like it's interesting of me to investigate why these people thought they would get away with this bullshit.
I wonder when sometimes you mention like what is my as Anna. I wonder what's your theory because I'm sure you thought of it maybe more than once. What do you think? Why do you think I have any other role other than there's the small fund?
I really don't know. Maybe you just bit off more than you could chew. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe you have like a superficial interest in the human mind and human emotions, and you just thought this was a case that could help you so much financially, and you know how to be sort of nice or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you did bite off more than you could chew. How would I know? I don't know.
What is this analogy by a bit more than you can chew? In what way? Like taking
Like now you're still sitting here with me and you're trying to think of what, like how to diagnose me, or it's hard for me to believe that you're trying to help me. I'm not sure who would believe you that you're trying to help me. I'm sure you'll find people that, but for now, right now, it's hard for me to believe that, very few people, like, they really care, but you're nice enough. That's why you're still here. Does that make you upset? That you're nice and that's harder to be nice, a nice person, than it is to be like a totalitarian, like a super aggressive, let's diagnose them and dose them kind of person? Because I don't know, sometimes you teeter with that too. So I don't know. Maybe you don't know who to be nice to, you know?
the only person who can give me any insights on diagnosis and stuff. It's psychiatrist, but in order to get diagnosis from psychiatrist, it's not something that I can do for you. It's supposed to be your kind of move. Like there is nothing I can do. I can talk to you about it, sure, but if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Like that. That's how it works, pretty much, in our system.
Yeah, I think that too. I guess we're lucky again because somebody's looking out that it has to be like a psychosis would be a past a certain level of aggression for you to have a diagnosis like officially. I don't know what other things go on in the dark because I happen to think a lot of things are going on that are messed up in the world. But it's sad actually because I mean sometimes it's like sort of like I feel good about my struggle, but sometimes it's tormentous. What I do know is that my child is gonna struggle now with his schoolwork, and I'm gonna reach out for this, but not to you because I don't really
No,
believe in this institution. I believe this institution's like dismissive, and it's really people get picked up like by politics. They get lucky like that, but sometimes it's when you're like a total tool like this, it's almost like you lose personal substance. So, you know.
With all respect, I won't be able to help with like education and struggles educational because that's probably the school system would be able to help and have like a counselor and develop individual educational plan.
But you don't think like I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you don't think anybody's putting anything in my food, right? You don't think that. And you don't think that my neighbors are FBI.
I cannot think or not think about it because I don't have the evidence of it. Like the fact that you would say your hair was pulling out extremely because of the food, and then was there?
But okay, like the food we need a laboratory for, correct? But yes, and you've been sort of like indulgent in your social position, asking me to go check again my vitals and stuff. And I did start off doing that again. I started off with like most people, they're sheep with some sort of faith that maybe one of these doctors would say this is ridiculous. Instead, what I get is stalking and harassment at the offices, and it's real, you know. And again, there's no evidence of it because nobody wants to collect evidence of like. I think it's mass fraud. I think it's a waste of funds. These people aren't investigating anything. They were investigating something. They prioritize crime. And I'm not the criminal in this scenario. The criminals are the people that are stalking me. I have civil rights. The criminals are the people that are putting things in my food. Again, that's super dastardly if the average American knew that. Now we have like a total division where there's these like greedy tax suckers, excuse me, because they don't admit that they're FBI agents, nor will they ever be tasked to investigate anything serious, you know? And then there's complete sheep, blind children, and they're being kind of walked around like dogs by these people, you know? There's no really like growth here emotionally or you know, we're trying, we're investing in all these programs, get the kids to read, you know, get women healthy, but it's not coming back as that. And I have been watching a lot of YouTube, and that supports my opinion that I've developed simply through personal experience, you know? And it's sort of very, very disturbing that my situation is being ignored. I want a cuddly boo, state FBI police to please, please, please pick up my case, pick up a case of Coca-Cola from the store downstairs and take it to the lab. That'll resolve all these issues because I'm sort of sick of cowering here. I am spirited and I do love my child. But I have to cower here, honey, because I'm scared. Like, if I reach out for help, what I get instead is like people trying to rip me a new one, you know? Because there are people that misdiagnose people, yes.
For sure, but you see, that's where we go step by step. Those accusations, you understand that they're pretty strong and you need to have solid evidence for it. So you need to clear your psych valve. You need to clear and show.
Super duper, and I'm running around like a maniac. I need to clear this, I need to clear that. I also need to make dinner. I also need to make sure my child at least knows how to read, goddammit. And now I have cats that I'm trying to wash, and I'm trying to get them adopted. I only adopted one. Thank you, this lady adopted my cat. Thank you, thank you. You know? It's like, sometimes I feel like the idea is to like run me ragged through the washer and the dryer, you know, and then I'll be a whole new me and I won't have anything to say for myself. So I try to like make notes and reach out to other people and leave evidence for them, you know, because I don't know what else to do, you know? Because actually human life is very fragile, you know?
It's very quick, you know?
Someone could drop a virus in your milk and you'd be like down for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Because I know there's like a level, you can't, being like an average doctor, you can't just buy every virus, but you could buy some pretty nasty shit.
What I mean by it, as long and as far as I'm concerned, you do have currently Medicaid, which will cover your medical expenses, which is a great news. Every time you feel those symptoms, there are plenty of CDMTs or emergency rooms. And sometimes I understand it could be inconvenient for not leaving Patrick by himself at home.
You want to hear some serious? I'm interrupting you again. Finally, we got my friend's doctor to prescribe us some ibuprofen that was not laced with laxative for like half a year to a year. The pharmacy that just closed, it's on, I forgot if it was a Rite Aid, I think it was a Rite Aid on Fulton Street and Ralph Avenue. They kept giving us pills that were upsetting our stomach. You're not going to believe it, but I left them around somewhere. I might have a vitamin C like that as well. Pills are very easy to make, even in a home environment, if you have the right ingredients. Everybody knows that. And these people are like sick. They're sick FBI agents. They do this with no regard for our morality, because if you were like a real like federal employee, you would have consideration first, not greed. You would not think to undermine all our freedoms, but it's almost like they just don't care, and it's just turned into like stupid hell.
See, every time I'm trying to list some steps to kind of get those solid evidences, you always have something against.
What solid evidence is what I get?
No, how to get those solid evidences. You always have a reasoning against it.
The problem is, okay, solid evidence. Why don't the police speak up and say there's all these buildings full of FBI? Why don't they do it? They're outnumbered.
Why would they speak up in the first place?
Because it's a waste of federal tax dollars. Because it's an infringement on my civil rights, and it's a waste of federal tax dollars. But they sit there and they feel sorry because these people have families or whatnot. But I question their morality, because when you're pressed with this issue that somebody's suffering so you can have a mortgage payment and you're the criminal, you're not going to come forward to even say, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll forego my fancy lifestyle, but I don't want to go to jail. That's what this country has undermined in me, is my faith in the law, in, things of that nature. Like, you'd never think, like, if you saw police, like, rapists, right? They used to have those. Those got taken care of.
See, we moving to a different topic right now. What I was trying to say more, when we met, when you have your biochemistry analysis of blood, for example, you see some information there, and you usually have the access to your...
what they could tell you is, I'm not smoking weed, I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking weed. They're not going to tell you anything. I had an analysis of blood. It looked normal. Normal is a range.
For example, today, if you would be like, something's really up because something's up, or something's down, you at least would see that things are changing. Because without this, that is why I cannot tell you if it's real or not real. There is no solid evidence, rather than you thinking the people next door are...
I don't want to feed vampires my blood, I don't want to feed vampires my blood. I'm like solid religious like that. I totally am. I could tell you I'm not smoking weed, whatever, and I'm not doing drugs or anything like that. I could take a swab test, but it's you trying to like run me through the system to make me tired, to make me demoralized, that nobody cares. And I'm already pretty chill with you, because I've told you before, what's going on, and you always take this stance. So I'm chill with it, but it's also like, am I now behaving like very cold or clinical? Because I've had it up to here that everybody's like lying to me. I don't understand, Because I have people that I thought were friends, but they're scared of this system, and they've been like, they have been way less than prideful. Like, they've been to like a level of embarrassing and embarrassed by my aggressors, and yet they don't come forward. I don't understand this either. I don't understand. So yeah, sometimes I'm sort of scared, but maybe like what I should be scared of is, this dragging on and on. Because I actually don't understand why you're an FBI agent, like, that got called out on this. There's other FBI agents watching you, and you're not scared of this dragging on and on. I don't understand. Like, I know these neighbors are not for real. Like, I just, I keep hoping every day that more straight forward law abiding FBI agents will come forward and say, yeah, she's not lying.
It is difficult moments, like the same that we had previously, or the same situation where it just escalated to the point where you felt the same way as you do right now.
I don't feel like it's an escalation. I feel like it's a real thing, and it's just that, having like being afraid to say something could be worse than just saying something, because I feel for like other people, and it's not that I really have faith that you per se can address all these issues, but this needs to stop. Like, and as for them trying to move me, I really don't understand. It's just a another hectic situation. It's more documents again that I could lose. It's more, you know, um, of my personal items again that are being moved around. And it's, I guess it's like not like a super big deal, but I will fight them out of principle. It's different being principled than being like crazy. I'm not being crazy about it, Anna. I'm being principled. I wish you would write that down, because I don't see why I have to.
You want me to write down that you said you're not?
I don't know. I have no idea what you're writing down. I sometimes think, like half the people that are like on welfare and seeing psychotherapy, then their AI writes their diagnoses.
Well, I wish no. AI is not officially something that
you're allowed
for notes. I know that in hospitals now they developed a specific AI that helps to fill the notes, but it's more about the structure. So if you put information manually, it just put it in correct gaps. For example, instead of writing the patient stated da 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 da, you just have like windows where you put words, and it's already putting it in a sentence. So you don't have to rewrite the sentence all the time. You only add specifications.
Well, it's like for grammar issues and stuff,
yeah, for grammar, and it saves clinicians time to fill it in. It's not allowed in this field yet. I know that in hospitals they try to do that, but since it's 104 and I do have more tight schedule lately, so I can afford more time to it. I just wanted, before we pick up, I wanted to check in. Are you feeling safe currently? Do you have any thoughts of hurting yourself, others, fighting with neighbors, or whatsoever?
I'm not fighting with them. I'm avoiding them. I'm waiting, and you're gonna call me crazy. I'm waiting for like some super federal agents to take up my case, some agents, and then they could fight with them. And if they're gonna fight with them bureaucratically, they might fight you too. Who knows? If you're a federal agent. But none of my friends are super, and then that's disappointing too. You could say that for sure. That's disappointing too, because my friends aren't super. They might have a little bit of heart, and they might have a little bit of sympathy for me. That's true, and I will believe that. But I'm the one here with my nutsack out.
Look, it's very. I understand it's not the nicest moment to stop. session today, but I need to wrap it up as I have to continue going to the next one.
Okay. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
I'm gonna take care of my cats. I hope there's less of them next week. Take care.
Let's hope